and he was just like, he comes over to me and Gronk and kisses us both on the lips, and we're like, what the is happening?
What a move!
He was like, but he was the sweetest guy. This is sick. Oh fuck, I love that.
What, the Louis Black?
Yeah,
He's
dude,
the man.
he did. Oh, you have that hat too, Ricky Velez.
Yeah.
Dude, this fucking.
You like a lot of the stuff in the studio. Yeah. I'm feeling good about the studio.
He did our pod, and it was like a story I couldn't. He didn't ask us to cut it. I couldn't believe it, but it was a story about him at Epstein's place.
Oh shit!
What?
And it was like the.
Was he drunk?
No, I think it was our most viral clip.
I bet, yeah.
Because Norman and I both had like killer jokes at the end of it. And he was like talking about just like
Well done,
out.
boys. That's that's the time to hit the home runs. Is
Dude,
on the Epstein story.
I couldn't fucking believe he told us. He was like, I mean, I guess he has nothing to hide. He hasn't done anything wrong. But like, just going to Epstein's, I couldn't believe he fucking told us.
He was at his apartment or the island.
The house, the townhouse in like,
Okay.
I don't know if it was in Midtown. I forgot.
Yeah, he had like a
Oh,
penthouse that like.
I thought you were
A lot of
saying
people
he went to
Bobby Slayden, like I guess was buddies with him.
Who's Bobby Slayden?
Bobby Slayden's like a fucking road dog comic, and he, you know, his wife actually fucking just died. He has like,
Jesus.
but I think but then he remarried someone like insanely wealthy. Like he's a character. He's like the guy on the road. That was a joke. One of the jokes I made in Lewis's story because he I think started the gag of when a woman would get up and go to the bathroom, grab her seat and sniff it, and then guess the year like it was a wine, and it would kill. It's not exactly a highbrow joke, but he started it. I mean,
The guy gets the respect.
Of comedy. He's like the guy on the road who would like always be like walking people, and I'd hear stories of like he walked 30 people because he couldn't stop saying. He's like an old
So he just says whatever the fuck he wants.
Like fuck you cunts. Like, he's not, but Louis Black is buddies with him, and like
It sounds like the guy that Running the Light was based on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's the embodiment.
Which
of
one is that?
That's,
the Sam Talent's book.
That was a good book.
Yeah.
That was fucking amazing, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is kind of like that guy, actually, because he did have some success. Holy shit, yeah, a little bit. That's like a bunch of... Man, that book was like... I hate, like, any extra comedy in my life. Like, I can't do specials, but that book was fucking great.
He's good. So you don't watch any specials? I could understand that for multiple reasons, but
I did Fox... Are we on right now?
Yeah.
I did Foxworthy's pod yesterday, and he was like, he said the same thing. He was like, when I was your age, I couldn't watch specials. And he's like, now I can, but yeah, it's hard. Because I'm in creative mode right now, so I'll watch like a little for inspiration. Sometimes if I forget how to write a joke, sometimes I'll watch old shit of mine and be like, oh yeah, shit, like how do I do that? I don't know how I do that. I don't,
right.
But
like watching your own highlights, you know?
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I need a new movie.
JJ Redick and LeBron were talking about that, how like when you're in a slump, he was like, We'll be the ones to say it, but everybody else does it. Don't deny it. Like you go back and you watch it, and you're like, okay, I am that guy. I can do that.
Yeah,
a little more for LeBron than JJ Redick had like a specific game. He was like May 22nd, 2017 against the blah blah blah. I hit like 6 threes. LeBron was like, like anything on YouTube. But
yeah, dude. I mean, it's hard to like. I watched Neil Brennan's recently. I like that a lot. I'll watch special.
Now, are you not watching because you just like I'm all comedied out, or like you don't want to have ideas overlap?
Yeah,
or like,
I don't want to take anyone's idea.
Right, because once you hear something that does trigger your creativity, it's a little bit like, well, fuck, I can't get that out of my head.
Well,
but if I say it, then it's like
if you're lifting someone's bit by accident, like it's happened to all of us. We've all done it.
Yeah,
but you
just got to be aware enough to pull it out.
Right.
You got to, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've definitely. I think that's the danger with like doing so much improv. I think that's what got Robin Williams in trouble, is that he was always doing improv, and you're watching comedy, and now a joke pops into your head, and you know he did have a brilliant improv skill, but you know at the same time you got to be careful.
Right.
I very much get that too, where it's like the stealing. I used to say about podcasts, I'm like, I don't listen to podcasts. I don't want to accidentally take stuff. I think I just don't like podcasts.
Yeah, you just listen to a podcast, you're like, stamps.com. They're like, that's not yours. This guy fucking stole that.
I hate if I do listen to a podcast and I'm like, that was my opinion before, but God damn it. Like,
but that's what
put it out
comedy
first.
is, too. It's all the same.
Really?
Like comedy,
Yeah.
like sometimes someone nails something and you're like, fuck, that's how I feel.
Right.
But I never thought, We were listening in the car to a Louis C.K. bit. We were going to Atlantic City over the weekend for a gig. And Louis did this bit where he shits on Good Will Hunting. And I like that movie, but he shits on it in a way where I'm like, fuck, that's so true. It's amazing when someone nails it.
Yeah.
Have you heard that bit?
No, I don't want to hear it. I love Good Will Hunting.
That's why it's good, though.
The
You can
gist
take
of
a
it
movie
is
that's
just writing yourself this character where he's like, he's blue collar and a construction worker, but he's a genius. And he gets into fights and people are like, stop. And, all the people at the school who've been working their whole life are like, he's smarter than me. And you just make that for yourself. I mean, it's an insanely
great
funny
point.
observation.
It's very funny.
Now that you say I have heard that bit, and I think I intentionally buried it.
Yeah.
Like a molested kid. I was like, nope.
Sometimes I'll love a movie and someone will like break down why it's a bad movie. I'm like, but I still like it. So
Yeah,
I don't want to hear
points
that.
are valid, but I'm just going to ignore them.
Yeah, but the movie, like sometimes a movie or a song just hits you at the right time too. Like I'll rewatch a movie that I'm like, I know this is bad, but I saw it when I was like 11 and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I still, same with a
Fuck
song.
yeah. Totally.
Fuck you. I like Third Eye Blind. I don't give a shit. I like their song. Smash Mouth too. I like a lot of their songs.
What's the Third Eye Blind song? The fucking one about killing everybody. I love that song.
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Killing everybody? Yeah, he poisons the girl's Coke, so she starts.
I don't know this one.
She starts bleeding red. He shoots like his teacher's kid.
I didn't know anybody
song.
listens to Third Eye Blind more than Semi Charmed Life and Step Back from That Ledge. My friend.
Oh
yeah. No, they got a few. They got a few.
A couple.
Yeah, dude, Third Eye Blind's fucking awesome. I'm not gonna find it, but it is. I'm not looking through my phone. What? No, it's fucking.
No, that's like a cheerful song.
Yeah.
You don't even know Semi Charmed.
Isn't it always weird when someone like breaks down to you like what a song means though, and you're just like, that song's about murdering the whole school? And you're like, I've been dancing to that song for years. What's that song? Pumped Up Kicks? That's like about a school shooting,
Yeah,
right?
that's a bad one.
I'm like,
that's
fuck.
that's going on right now.
People are just dancing at
everyone
the fucking...
from bar mitzvahs to weddings to whatever. Everyone's singing a pedophile song with Kendrick Lamar's song.
Whoa.
It's like he's calling Drake a pedophile,
But it's catchy, though.
and everyone's going certified pedophile. It's
yeah, but that's
crazy.
But that's how good a song it is.
I know. If
so
it's catchy, it does not matter. There was like literally bar mitzvahs of
Dude,
boys and
remember
girls.
Let's Get Retarded?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was like, I mean, I can't believe, literally grandparents were like, let's get retarded.
The best part of that song
They were
is
retarded
the
kids
very
being like, let's
beginning.
stay retarded. Yeah.
The way Fergie like harmonizes it in the beginning, she's like, "Let's get retarded in here."
The ultimate luck that the word started exists, and they just flipped it
Yeah.
out.
Get it
like,
started.
You can't
Yeah.
find the retarded song anymore.
It is gone.
It's like
That really upsets me, though. The way, like, it's like the way we have to pretend things didn't exist. Let's just say, hey, sometimes there's a misstep. Like the fact that I can't find the It's Always Sunny blackface episode.
Yeah.
That kind of bothers me.
That sucks.
Shows will do that where you're like,
Yeah.
God, there's another one. There was another classic. I want to do like a list of all the things that have been buried.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're going to act like it never happened. I mean, it's
The
weird.
Ringer was, I don't know if that's buried or blacked out, or you can still find that, but The Ringer was one where when it came out, I think it was like praised by Special Olympics and people with Down syndrome. This one with Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I think it's
it
like
had
considered
heart, that movie.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
I
The
mean,
Ringer,
like,
I
that's
mean-
why they liked it, and it was like.
Well, same with all those Fairly Brothers movies. They always cast, mentally challenged people in their movies, but there was always a sweetness around it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Bob Dylan still says the N-word in Hurricane. So I think if it's really good, we keep it.
now he says it even harder for some reason. I don't know. It's weird, but
It gets louder on my version. I have.
What was? Dude,
Well,
I sent
remember there was this comedian Jesse Pop with a really funny bit about remember when they were censoring Huck Finn,
Yeah.
and they were like, no more, they say N-word Jim instead of the actual N-word, and he goes, how about just Jim? I thought that was the best take I heard on that. It's always so annoying when someone breaks it down, but you're like, fuck, that you found it, I'm out.
So wait,
this one I saw the other day. It's Eric Clapton. I didn't know about this. This is like one of my favorite quotes.
When he drops the N-word in Tears of Heaven.
I was going to say, what did he say?
That was
It was like a Reddit thread about people who were like genuinely bad people, not people who did a bad thing or whatever it was. And I had no idea. Like, I know my mom's a big Eric Clapton fan. I don't know a ton about him, but
Is he a bad dude?
Not necessarily.
I mean, he did steal George Harrison's wife.
Oh, did he really?
That's Layla. Layla it's not her real name,
wow.
but Layla, That's his. And then George Harrison was so cool. They're just like, it's rock and roll, man. You know, like it's like you just fuck your friend's wife. It's like that's not bad. I'm like, no, I stole her and then married her. And he's like, nah, it's cool, man. You know? They were just like, I guess if you're a Beatle, you'll bounce back.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
It's not like you just like fuck your friend's wife and you're like, no, I'm just alone now. You know? George Harrison's gonna be okay.
This one he goes. It's a little long, so bear with me. He goes, do we have any foreigners in the audience tonight? If so, please put your hands up. So where are you? Well, wherever you are, I think you should all leave. Now just leave the hall, leave our country. I don't want you here in the room or in my country. Listen to me, man. I think we should vote for Enoch Powell. Enoch's our man. I think Enoch's right. I think we should send them all back. Stop Britain becoming from a black country. I used to be into dope. Now I'm into racism.
That's Clapton? That's Eric Clapton? He must be being like sarcastic or ironic. He doesn't mean that, does he?
I don't know. That's the
crazy.
first I've ever heard of it. Jack, throw some on that.
I used to be into dope. Now I'm into racism.
Is an all-time line.
Damn.
I pray that's tongue in cheek or something.
It must
Holy
be. He
shit.
can't be that crazy.
I
mean,
don't
shit,
know,
I
man.
fucking
Some of
know.
those guys, you don't realize they're like I remember growing up, the Eric Clapton Unplugged album like came out in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And my parents listened to that. And so in my mind, Eric Clapton was like this like, I don't know, lame acoustic guitar.
Yeah, right.
And then you find out he's like, fuck it. Like when I
One of
heard
the
the real
greats.
version of Layla, and he's one of the greatest guitarists, and he's like this rock and roll badass. I'm like, yeah, he's probably fucking kind of crazy too. But that's
real.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Red and white. I used to be into dope. Now I'm into racist.
It's an all-time line. I might make a shirt.
Must be. Norman used to always have the bit about like being racist must be exhausting.
You just hate
Like you live in a fucking city like New York.
New
City,
York.
and
You watch
you're
sports.
racist.
Imagine
Yeah.
watching. You're a basketball fan and you're racist.
Yeah,
That's a brutal time. You know.
Yeah, you just got to root for fucking Scalabrini. Put Scalabrini in.
Dude, I was in France this weekend, and I actually like. I was thinking that the French are like the last people who are allowed to be openly, not necessarily racist, but xenophobic. They're every bit the cunts they're brought up to be. But like we were trying to go to restaurants, and like they would just be like, no. And, like
kinda like that.
like they're like, no, we're full.
Yeah, I do kind of appreciate that too.
The French were the people that were like at first were laughing at the Me Too movement here. They had the Not Me movement. Really? Yeah, they were like, fuck you. I mean, I'm playing France.
Really?
in September. I'm doing like a whole Euro tour. I'm fucking pumped.
Hell
Is that the
yeah,
first time
dude.
doing it?
I've played like Dublin, I've played London.
Yeah.
I've never done like a full like stretch of Euro
Yeah.
gigs. I'm hitting a lot. Man, tickets slow in Sweden. I didn't plan on playing Sweden on a Monday. I'm like, did we route this properly? Some of these Norway, Sweden are kind of rough. Amsterdam's already sold out. I mean,
Yeah, I
we're
can
like
see
adding
that.
in Amsterdam,
That's
which
great.
like
That's funny.
I've never played there. I've heard they're good comedy crowds.
The
Amsterdam? Or
Yeah,
just
it's
Europe?
so funny. They're just known for like the red light district, whores, bicycles, and the Anne Frank house. That's
The Anne Frank house sucks.
I'm gonna go,
Bro,
it
it is. Yeah, you'll probably, you'll
I have
maybe have a
to.
connection with it, but
I don't even know about that, but I just feel like I have. I feel like people are like, "What do you do there?" And you're like, "Whores." I'm too old. I got to go to the Anne Frank house.
I like caught a glimpse. To be fair, I didn't like go in and do the whole experience because when I got there, it's like an apartment building. And maybe
Yeah.
that's on me for not thinking like properly about it, but like I was like, this just looks like.
What did you expect? Where do you think she was hiding?
Well, it looks like
I wanted this to be a sports arena.
No, but I thought it was gonna have like more of a historical look to it, and I was like, this just looks like my apartment in like Murray Hill.
Really?
It's just like a regular ass building. I'm sure they had to like modernize it in some ways just because, but I was like, okay.
Wow. I'm still gonna go. I think.
Yeah, Amsterdam. We went with Bert last year.
That's good.
Wow, that's right. I saw that in you guys.
It was crazy,
Instagram.
but
Was that
Yeah.
only last year?
I think it was like last January, so like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I had no idea like how gorgeous it was. I knew it as the party city. I knew it was red light district, whores, all that good stuff. We got there. I was like, this is the most fucking beautiful place I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's so old, so it has like, there's shit from like 400 years ago. Some of the architecture and whatever. It's crazy. The streets, the waterways, all that is like old.
I wish I had more time there. I'm like kind of I'm all over the place. I'm kind of just a new city pretty much every other day or so. So I don't have a ton of time,
It's crazy.
which sucks.
But like it's cool to do all the shit. There's actually like a lot of cool shit, but it's also just like it's just gorgeous to see. Like, if you just
Yeah.
take a walk, it'll be It'll be fine. Although when I was there, I liked it so much that when we went with Bert, I was supposed to go on vacation like a month later with my mom and my brother, and we were supposed to go to Iceland, and we changed that to Amsterdam to go back. And like in that time, we got to travel a lot more. I forget why I'm saying this. I forgot why I said that.
Did you enjoy it more than when you were partying with Bert?
No.
Yeah.
Did you know you can get tickets to Luke Combs at MetLife for $150 right now? You can get Copa America tickets for about $250. You can get all of that thanks to Gametime. It is the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Buying tickets should not be a hard thing to do. It should be very easy. Luckily it is thanks to Gametime. They got zone deals for when you're feeling a little flexible. They have lowest price guarantee, 110% back of your money. If you can find prices lower elsewhere, you will not. That is a promise. But it is, you can get tickets to concerts, shows, comedy, theater, whatever you want. Gametime has it for you. You can get all that by downloading Gametime app right now. Use code KFC. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but it has the lowest prices guaranteed. I'm going to go get my Luke Combs tickets right now. I will be there July 19th. I'm going to see The Strike July 20th. Go get Gametime tickets. That's what I do. That's what you should do.
There's a reason I said that.
That Fully Loaded tour was pretty crazy.
You just got off that, right?
Yeah, I wanted to actually go. I was going to go back just on my own dime because I had so much fun. So I was going to just meet them in Maryland, but I had like apartment stuff I had to deal with this week. But dude, I mean, he brought like ice water plunges. We're doing ice baths.
Yeah.
He's got a portable ice bath, and I'm like, this is hilarious. He brought a personal trainer.
Yeah.
He brought a portable sauna. The first night, Bobby Lee fell off the top bunk, which like not.
Yeah, he fucked up his face, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Did he have to like skip a gig?
He went home.
Yeah, I
It
think.
sucked
Oh yeah, that's
because
what he like posted. Like, I won't be at the Fully Loaded tour
It's
because I
funny
fucked my face
he
up.
kept complaining about being the top bunk, and it's almost like there was two things. There was like one, I'm like, that's a bad sign. I'm going to keep it because I'm like, I wasn't happy to be in the top bunk either, but I'm like, I mean, I've done the tour bus stuff before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it like did something crazy happen with the bus, or he just like
No, I
rolled
think
out?
he tried to get back up, and he just did. You got to do it like rock climbing. You got to get like 3 points of contact. It's like, you got to make sure because the bus is moving. So,
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bert's fucking bus driver had a heart attack. So many things went wrong. I'm like, is this Final Destination? Are they getting us? So yeah.
But wait. Bobby Lee was laying in his bed and fell, or
the other best,
fell getting into his
No,
bed?
he was trying to get in. But the other best part is they told Bobby not to post a tour picture because he had they were like, just clear it with everyone to make sure you can post it yet, because I think they have like a rollout. I have no idea why, but one of Bert's tour people was like, Bobby, don't post it. And he goes, I'm posting it. And they go, Bobby, something bad will happen. I'm like, why did he have to say that?
Wow.
Because then he did that. And I mean, the group of comics were so amazing. It was like, first night it was like Dave Attell, who just won't go to sleep. So he's like, I don't like sleeping on the tour bus. I'll just stay up and get to the hotel. It's like, okay, we're not getting there until 9 a.m. Dave's just chain smoking in the main room on the bus, hanging out. And I'm like, this, I love that Dave Attell exists. He's just the coolest. But
wait, so who else was there? Dave Attell, you, Bobby
the first
Lee,
night, yeah,
Bert,
Dave,
obviously.
Yeah, Dave and Bobby were only there the first night. Bobby was supposed to be there every night with me, so I was bummed we lost Bobby. But yeah, we had Soder, Big J. Okerson, Kelsey Cook, Chad Daniels, Kyle Kinane. Yeah, you said Attell, Jelly Roll, the singer who's like on fire right now.
Yeah.
Bro, when he started, the one he did in New York, it was very similar. Plus, like Rosebud and Tiffany Haddish, and and I mean, like Soder was like. The sun was still out when Soder was on because there were so many main acts.
I got
lucky.
lucky. I was on late every night, but those outdoor gigs, like comedy, just even if the crowds are great, they're like comedy just not meant.
It's not meant for outside. Yeah. But I honestly, at least for like the modern era, because there's so many great comics from like the past, but the acts he puts together, I'm like, these are the greatest comedy setups ever. I mean, if you catch one of those shows, you are genuinely catching one of the greatest comedy lineups ever every time you see Fully Loaded.
It was pretty cool. And I mean, we were in cool cities too. Savannah, Georgia's awesome. Did West Palm. Never been to Daytona Beach. We're going surfing.
Oh, that's so good for the Fully Loaded tour. There were certain cities that fit Bert and the Fully Loaded tour.
Problem is, a lot of the comics on this tour are sober now, or they're potheads, and I'm like, I still drink, and I'm like, I'm not going crazy, but you want someone to have a cocktail with. I'm grateful, a couple people next. There's a few people, but Kinane doesn't drink anymore, and he was like a real drinker. I didn't really know him well.
It's bad when you lose all your
Well, it's good. It's good for their health.
Good for them. It's bad for you.
It's bad for my social anxiety. It's good for them to live a little longer. But yeah. I mean, I don't know David Tell when he drank. He'd be dead if he still drank. Thank God he stopped. But yeah, Soda or Jay, they're all smoking weed, and they're smoking Jelly Rolls weed, which this is like rapper weed.
Yeah, that shit will fuck you up.
So Bert's like, you should try. I'm like, dude, I've never seen you fucked up. Although actually, that's not. Last time I hung out with Bert, I did because I was supposed to be on. Apparently they wanted me on Fully Loaded last year, and it's just never like agent shit is so annoying when it doesn't get through. Because I'm like, I wanted to be here last year.
Yeah,
totally.
I was like my feelings were hurt that I wasn't on.
Right.
I saw Stavi and Norman. I'm like, I want to be here, but
wait. So back it up. So he like told somebody go get Sam, and then that just like never got to you.
I think his manager and my agent hate each other, and I think something happened there. But like, I love my agent. I'm sticking with my agent. You know.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but we ended up.
That's crazy.
I did Something's Burning with Bert and Ric Flair, and that's when we kind of like figured it out because I'm bringing my whiskey on air. I'm making us Boulevardiers, and that's a cooking show. So I showed up on an empty stomach. So I'm like, oh, this could. You don't even think about it. You're like, I'm pretty drunk, you know. And Bert's like just pounded. He's not been drinking as much. He's down like 45 pounds.
Yeah. Right.
We're getting fucked up. And the food, I'm like, where's that food? This is like my fourth drink. I need food.
Yeah.
And by the end, I was bombed. I just remember like Bert and I like laughing like too much at the end. And then like he pours me another drink. We're just getting more fucked up. We're hanging out. All I know is I saw Jim Norton the next time I saw him, and he goes, "Man, that was such a nice video you and Bert made for me." And I was like, Lord knows what the fuck we sent you, you know, like. But yeah, Bert was like, "Yeah, it's just something about how much we love him," or someone was like, "Oh, okay." But I was like, we were bombed. Dude. And then Bert was like, "Why weren't you on the tour?" Like, I was bummed you weren't on the tour, and I was like, I was bummed I didn't get asked. So we just figured it out. And then of course my agent's like, Bert's like, "Can I have his number?" I'm like, "Sure." And then my agent's like, "Why are you and Bert drunkenly messaging me?" I'm like, "Because we're drunk."
You figured this out.
You explained it.
And you explained the situation.
I was puking all night. It was one of those like, fuck, I drank way too.
Yeah.
But then it's like, that sounds like about right. Like, where have you been? I was with Bert Kreischer and Ric Flair. Yeah, you should be fucked up.
You should be puking.
Yeah,
if you're not,
bombed.
you missed an opportunity. Yeah.
When we did Something's Burning, I also drank too much, and we were supposed to do after Something's Burning. We were supposed to be interviewing Adriana Chechik, the porn star.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
And like it fell through. But as we were leaving, I was like the drunk level and confidence level of like walking out of Bert's house, going to the hotel to interview Adriana, and I was like, I think I'm about to fuck Adriana Chechik.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's happened. Other people, it's happened for. You got a shot.
Yeah, I'm not an Uber driver, but we'll see what happens.
Dude, you know, when I was driving there, the guy who picked me up in the car was like a sweet guy from Haiti. Was like, couldn't have been cooler. He was like, I'm a big comedy fan. I was like, oh hell yeah, and we like had a great conversation. And then when he picked me up afterwards, I was a different person. So I was just there like, and he was just like, are you okay? Yeah, I was fucking. I felt bad, but that's when you need a car. You
ruined comedy for him,
dude. But yeah, there's something. I mean, I've had those nights with Bert where you just get hammered like that.
Yeah.
There's certain comedians like. They're almost at a place in time where you're like, oh, this is like what I heard about Jackie Gleason. Everyone's like and it's good that people are into their health now. You don't want people to drop dead, but I do kind of miss, like, I remember opening for Jim Jeffries like back in the day and just drinking with him and being like, this guy's had 15 drinks before the show.
Yeah.
And he still put on a great show.
I feel like if this era of like golden era of comedy happened 20, 30 years ago, maybe when things aren't so much health consciousness, where you're watching David Goggins run 1,000,000 miles and learn about ice baths and all that shit, this level of talent, making this level of money, succeeding this much, where everybody was still like, let's get fucked up and not worry about our health.
A lot of deaths.
It would probably be a lot of deaths, but there would also be, right before those deaths, it would be like, this is unbelievable. Like some Rat Pack shit.
You feel like you like when I remember when I was growing up, I loved Californication. That was like, that's what like artists were to me and all that shit. And I've like stopped drinking so much too, and I've like kind of.
What, you mean Red Hot Chili Peppers?
No, the show.
Oh, that was a fun show.
With Hank
Yeah.
Moody, and I was like, that's a fucking
Yeah,
artist,
he was trying
that's
to
a
be
writer.
like Bukowski or something. Where he just
Yeah, he's
that
brooding.
was a dicey subplot though in that first season where
the
he
girl,
he
the
fucks
underage-
the underage girl.
Yeah,
and
beats the shit out of him.
this is the good guy.
Yes. I remember when we first interviewed him, I was like, yeah, like in some ways, like I kind of identify with like Hank Moody, and he was like, you shouldn't. Like I forgot that he's he's an actor and he's not that guy, you know?
No, but I get what you mean though.
Yeah.
Where he's
Minus
kind
the
of
underage girls.
Yeah, I mean he was like a fun party. I mean it's like kind of cool to be a writer who just is
There's so much romantic about that, being like an artist who's
driving
like
a Porsche,
depressed and drunk and all that
You
stuff.
got your kid, your ex-wife, and you're
It's a
fucking
fun
these
place
girls
to
and-
visit.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
You don't want to
that's
live
But
really
now
it.
that I've like kind of like stopped drinking so much and try and be a little healthier sometimes, I feel like such a fucking poser. I'm like, you're such a loser.
No, you don't
dude.
forget how these people actually are depressed. My friend Nick Griffin has a great joke where they say, they say to live every day like it's your last. So I've been crying a lot lately. It's a great fucking joke. But I mean, I think about that. Like we do romanticize misery. 'Cause,
Yeah,
Like
yes.
for some reason, like it's more poignant when someone's miserable. But then I've heard people make the point. Like I love Leonard Cohen, and I heard him say like they were like, "Do you need to be depressed to create great music?" And he's like, "No, the depression was like killing me.
Right,
I made
yeah.
this in spite of the depression."
Yes,
Right.
yes. People say that about comedy too, right? Like
Yeah.
if I stop drinking,
It's
I'm not gonna be
bullshit.
funny. And it's like I think you'll probably be smarter and
There's
better.
got to be
and-
one though who stopped drinking and he was like, "Fuck, I'm like an accountant now. This sucks." There's got to be one. But I know what you mean. Yeah, I heard like it's
Nobody
a myth.
also nobody likes the like rise and grind guys. Today's going to be like 100%. Like nobody likes that fucking guy.
Positivity can be
So corny.
It can be corny and it can feel tone deaf too. Like,
Yeah.
You want to read the room, and no one wants to hear a comic who's just winning. It's
Right.
boring. We're
Well,
not
that's
supposed
why
to be winners.
I do think there is something to when you get rich and famous as a comic. There's more of that's more dicey, I would think, than I stopped drinking and partying.
That's a great point.
You are just funnier and have better stories, and you're easier to root for and all that shit when you are scraping by and you're sleeping on couches and you're living the everyday blue collar shit. Like you just identify with people can relate to you more, you know?
That is true, but the movie Back to School, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time, they originally wrote him as a poor guy, and then they were like, it would be really funny if he could just buy whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
So
there is humor in that
there
for
is
sure.
humor in
yeah,
that, too.
yeah. But you just can't be like you have to be like. Well, what you start throwing your wealth around in a way that like it's like, oh well, we didn't, we don't
The
like
job
that.
of the comic is to relate to their audience. So
Right,
yeah, when
right.
you lose that, I think I mean it's to make them laugh, but also you got to relate to them. So yeah, I think once you become, I mean, look, my new special is called "You've Changed." Like you want to
Well, that's the other thing too. You have to be honest. So
wanna-
it's like you
want to keep a you want friends who will call you out when you're being an asshole.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I can always tell when a comic doesn't have enough comic friends by their posts, by their behavior. I'm like, man, you need a friend to be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Right.
And you're right about I think getting too rich because like, yeah, we didn't get into this thinking we'd succeed.
Right,
So I
right.
think when some people start to blow up, they're like, oh shit, I'm gonna do. And also, you kind of get to become the asshole you always wanted to be.
yeah.
You know, which it's harder to be that asshole when you have nothing.
Yep.
But when
Yep.
you have access,
that's what Portnoy always said because people were like, "You've changed, man. You used to be like the everyman, and now you're like this rich asshole." And he was like, "No. I was always that guy. I just didn't have the money to act like that. Now I have the money, so I could just be my regular self." I was like, "You really are an asshole." But the only thing worse than somebody who just like flosses and flaunts their wealth is the guy who has wealth and is like lying about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like don't try to play that card. I
Yeah, you
know,
gotta be honest.
You know, I remember Tom Segura being like, "Look around, I sold out this place. Like, obviously things are going pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
So let's not pretend."
I think was it Richard Pryor said that like you can be as funny as honest as you are honest or something like that, and I think that's true until it's like, well, I took a private jet here. Well, fuck off, dude.
Yeah, you don't need. Being honest doesn't mean you need to tell us everything.
Yeah.
You know? Some things can stay secret.
You're right. It's like something about a private jet. It's hard to write jokes in a private jet.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, like tour bus. At least it's it's expensive. That's a big expense, but at least it's a kind of a grungy style of living.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're sleeping in bunks. It does feel like adult summer camp a little bit.
Yeah.
I always say New York City does help you because even if you're making a lot of money, you still
You're
live
with
like
the
kind of a
commoners.
fucking animal.
Yeah.
there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, even rich people live like the same way poor people live here.
Yeah.
I remember fucking Bloomberg would ride the subway.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This guy's a billionaire, you know. But I mean,
big
a lot,
billionaire,
a
not
lot
even
of
just one.
What
a lot
Yeah.
of that was
Multi.
a lot of that was for show. But I mean, it is
still-
actually the easiest way to get around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would-
I don't care how rich you are. When you're like, I got to get across town in 45 minutes, and if I get in a car, it's gonna be 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm getting on the L or whatever. But we were in Austin, and we met at Tom and Bert's vodka launch, and so they roll with like literally billionaires. And this guy was talking about his penthouse that he got on like 28th and 3rd, and I was like, I lived on 28th and 3rd like growing up, like. You probably have like $100 million piece of property, and we walk out and like bump into each other. You know what I mean? And I used to have homeless people sitting in my fucking stuff.
Well, those homeless people looking at you like, holy shit, this guy just walked out of his home. This guy's amazing. But no, I know what you mean.
It's
I mean,
crazy.
but that's kind of what I think keeps New Yorkers like cohesive, is that like there is a togetherness no matter what. Like we are all in it. We're all in line at the coffee shop together. We're all, getting our we're all in CVS together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do still have those interactions and shit. Like, I would imagine if you make it in LA, you move to a certain neighborhood and you're in like a cul-de-sac, and you.
Well, also
You don't
you're
go
in your
anywhere,
car in a lot of
Right,
other places
right.
like LA. You're like, look, I know some people that probably like that style because you get to kind of like be alone with your thoughts. But like, traffic just stresses me out.
Yeah.
I also can't fucking drive, as you guys know.
I
But
know I still
I'm
want to like
worthless.
see it. I want to like set up a driving.
Norman wants to do
challenge.
a video where he teaches me to drive.
Yeah, that would be great.
I was like, man,
Because there's like, you're not a good driver, and like I can't drive. It's the
I have
same
a
thing as like
license.
I can't swim, and it's like I will drown if I get in the
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, which one is it?
Can you swim?
Yes.
I can swim too.
I got a pool this weekend.
Cool.
3 minutes. It had no shallow end. 3 minutes. Got out. Gas.
Yeah.
Because
you're
I was
tired.
like, I was in it. I jumped in, and then I was like treading water.
It's the best feeling.
And I was like, hey, where's the shallow end? And they're like, there isn't one.
What kind of pool doesn't have any shallow ones?
I don't know.
I still think what Diana Naya did is one of the most impressive athletics.
insane.
Even though Cubans do it.
What is that?
She swam from
Cuba to Florida, I believe.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it,
Took
61
her
miles?
a few tries, but like she fucking did it. I think she also swam the English Channel or something like
I was
that.
going to say, I knew someone swam
She's
that,
done some
yeah.
crazy shit, and she was like 61 when she.
Yeah.
Was it? Wait, maybe I'm wrong with
Yeah,
the
no.
miles. I don't know what the actual because that doesn't sound
She
right.
and that's like shark infested waters and all sorts of shit.
Dude, that would suck so much.
The
to get
ocean
by a
is
shark.
kind of like the only thing that really scares me.
Really?
I'm not scared of heights.
Mr.
I've,
Tough Guy.
I've gone skydiving. Like all that stuff is fine with
Ugh.
me. But if I've tried to scuba twice, and both times like the second I got fully submerged, I like started having a panic attack.
I don't like the idea of skydiving.
The thing with skydiving that's fucking and this might turn you off to it even more is like if something goes wrong, I just die. I'm fine with that.
Great sales pitch. That's
like,
it.
Like I'm not gonna. There's not some medical emergency where I'm gonna like be a
I don't
vegetable
know,
or
dude.
something.
There
I
might
just
be, there might be
die.
some way where like you know the parachute kind of works and then like whips off, so you make it down like to 100 feet and then you fucking just break a hip and a face.
That's. I've convinced myself that that's. Because I'm actually skydiving again next month. I've convinced myself that that's impossible. I think it's clearly
probably-
very possible, but like I've just been like, look, if it goes wrong, I just die.
I don't like
Whatever.
the idea of almost killing myself.
Yeah, I mean,
the same reason I don't do autoerotic asphyxiation. I don't like the idea of like of flirting with death. I don't.
Do you think there are guys who try that and they go, nah, wasn't for me?
Autoerotic asphyxiation?
I
There
feel like
must be.
if you do it, you know you're going to be into it.
You know,
I don't think there's
one of
many
those
guys who are like,
David Carradine. He was one of those guys. As he was dying. Wrong choice.
by the way, she swam, it was 110 miles
Jesus.
from Key West
And
to
she was
Cuba.
61. That's why
she
I got
was
wrong.
64.
64.
And it was her fifth attempt. And the other people...
The
there's only,
jellyfish stings, too.
Yeah.
Well, so there's only 3 people who have done it. And the first people used the shark cage. One guy had fins on and took breaks on his on an escort boat. It's
How
like,
the
that
fuck do
doesn't
you? I mean,
fucking
think
count.
about how much water you have to drink, dude. I guess you just pee. Like, and what do you do for like? I mean, do you do like protein shakes or what are you doing in there?
No idea. She used a protective jellyfish suit, shark divers, and electronic shark repellents. So she was literally unassisted. We just listed all the things that assisted her. But the other people were like inside a cage and had boats. She actually just like
How do you
swam
swim inside a cage?
I think they are like moving.
They
with
move
you.
that with the boat. They
so.
kind of drag it.
Probably.
Well, I just fucking sit back there.
Yeah, just let it pull me. That's why I think some of the first ones were kind of bullshit. So
No,
I think I remember writing a
badass.
blog about this woman, being like, "I'm not impressed."
I'm impressed. I think it's. I mean, just to not.
Of course. I mean, of course.
Think about not looking at your phone that long. Even that is hard. I mean, it's impressive.
Last night, my flight didn't have Wi-Fi, and it was like 7 hours, no phone, and it was actually amazing. Like it was.
It's amazing when you're not hungover. When I'm hungover, I need distractions.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
But yeah, if you're not hungover, dude, you bring a fucking book, and you're like, this is the best. I mean, this is no one can bother me.
Yeah, that's what I've grown to love about planes. I still like to watch shit and have my phone and all that, but I'm like, I just always worry about everything. I'm worried about work. I'm worried about my kids. I got to do this. I got to do that. And when you're in the air, it's like none of that can even happen. Even if I wanted to. There's the New York Post just wrote an article. 15-year-old Steve sent it to me. That they're calling it raw dogging.
Oh, this is McCusker.
McCusker did what?
I think McCusker coined it.
Raw dogging a flight.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
I saw him quote tweet it yesterday.
Yeah, so I guess like there was like a girl on TikTok who said it, and that one kind of went viral. So that's the video they had. But yeah, it was like she filmed the amount of people whose screens just had the flying track.
Yeah,
and they were just like sitting there staring.
It is.
She
so
was like,
weird.
"I'm on a 5-hour flight, and these guys are just looking at the back
it's
seat."
like just the guy thing because I believe
that's
it's from Matt
definitely.
Shane.
There is no fucking way a girl would ever do that. There's so many things like it used to be like guys have dicks and girls have vaginas. Now that doesn't even now you can't even see that anymore. But what you can say is like a girl will never just be able to like sit there and look at the fucking back of a seat for 5 hours.
It's gotta be
funny
like an
how-
old lady or something. Not a young woman would never.
Never.
Oh,
never.
I think I would say my mom. I'd be shocked if I got on a plane and my mom did anything.
They usually
Yeah,
reading
but
a book
she's-
or something.
Yeah. She's poly.
It's funny how cyclical everything is because like that's a new bit it seems, or not a bit but a trend. Like this was Seinfeld. When Elaine like breaks up with Putty because he's like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
And he's like just sitting
Sits
there on
there.
the plane.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you want a book? He's like, no, I'm good. And like,
It's like The Simpsons already did it. Seinfeld already did it.
It's already happened.
I love when I can just. That's like why I bring a book, like in case like I get tempted with like work stuff usually, but like man, if you just read a book on a flight, you feel so fucking good about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You get this inherent self-worth thing where it's like I read 20
something.
pages.
You feel positive.
Yeah.
And
I don't
also-
know why though. Like who fucking cares if it's like you're reading, something on the internet on your phone versus reading these pages of a book, but there is something different.
Well, the phone I just feel like is worse for your eyes. That's the same reason I don't even use a fucking Kindle anymore. I was doing a Kindle for a while because I like the idea that people don't know what I'm reading. It's like because it is kind of
Got some trash on there. It doesn't matter.
Well, my friend wrote a book called How to Be Black, and I felt fucking weird as hell reading that on the subway. This guy, Baratunde Thurston, he's a great guy. But I was like, he's a friend. I want to support him and read the book. But you look like a real jerk off.
Yeah, you do.
I was like, what am I doing here? But I love when you... I just love the idea of just actual... I like magazines. I still like...
I'm with you 100%.
And it's hard to
Tangible.
find.
Yeah.
I get bummed that you can't find a newspaper at a newsstand anymore because I love the idea. I actually wanted during the Knicks playoff run. I was like, fuck, I gotta find some of these because these will be like cool collector's
Yeah, the back
items.
pages, man.
In,
It
like,
was
20
always a
years.
thing. Yeah.
But in like 20 years, those are going to be like
Absolutely.
completely gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a little piece of art almost. I used to remember like I wanted to guess what the headlines were going to be, and you see what the pictures they used.
Yeah.
I used to like get the Post and the Daily News when I was first working and commuting into the city, and like would sit there with a big ass.
Would you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My hands would be all inky and
It's
shit.
nice.
A lot of times my dad would like read it and then like pass it to me, and it was like I would we'd split a fucking paper on the train ride.
It's kind of fun.
They are absurd though when people are usually they kind of like fold it down to whatever, so you're just reading but there would be people like holding like this.
No
Crazy.
spatial awareness is an all-time peeve. Like,
Especially in this city, it's like come on, we have as little space as possible as is, and now you
know.
got your backpack on or your arms are out or whatever. It's like, geez, give me a break.
You mentioned the Knicks run. How important do you think that is it's obviously not important. That's not the right word. But like, how much growth do you see in like your ticket sales with how much success they have? Because I feel
Knicks?
I feel like you're like the Knicks guy. I feel like you're on a bunch. I saw you're on Lebitard. You go on like a bunch of like sports shows.
Oh
have
my
you
God,
on?
the amount of hate I get from those appearances. 'Cause that's like a Florida show. I know it's national, but like
the heat.
Oh my God, I last time when I went there, the amount of Philly people just trashing me. It was. I'm like, fuck, can I play Philly again? But then you go to the next round with Indiana. Their Twitter was like nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, Philly's like doxing my family. Indiana's doing like, I'm like, oh, this is child's
easy.
play.
Like,
Philly, I think the Knicks gave like for real, put a real chink in the armor of Philly as a sports town. With
big
the
time.
taking over of
on the road?
That was
Wells Fargo.
That was crazy.
That was
like,
nuts.
I'm mad I didn't go to that game. I should have gone.
having your opposing fans chant like "fuck Embiid" and like "let's go Knicks."
MVP chance for
Like,
the other guy.
you're
Well,
not
they
the
fired
real-
us up by the way he was playing, though, because like he's such a great player. But when he started doing some of those
dirty shit.
I think it was
Yeah.
game 3 when he started doing like kicked Hardenstein in the nuts, and when he grabbed Mitchell
Donovan
Robinson's
Mitchell is
leg.
jumping like
Yeah,
Mitchell Robinson.
I was. That's when we were like, this guy's dirty.
Yeah, no, that was a bad
And they were saying like,
series
I
because
thought Knicks
it,
like tough play. Like we like tough play.
we don't
but
like dirty
you're
play.
Trying to hurt
There's an
players.
honor amongst thieves in a way where it's like you do
Yeah.
it the right way. That was the fans got exposed, and I thought that was a horrible series for Embiid as well as he played at times. It was like, oh, you are a dirty bitch. You play like a dirty bitch on the court.
And I still respect his greatness, but yeah, I was like, I don't really like this.
And
guy.
also, he's tired at the fourth quarter of every game. And
He was hurt.
You're
I
not.
mean, he definitely was
Yeah,
hurt.
but he's always, like you're
That's
not
the
gonna.
thing.
You're not gonna. Like,
Shane Gillis was writing me just hateful texts, and he was like,
he's
and he was
the
like,
fucking worst,
And then
dude.
he saw me, he goes, "Oh, I was so fucking mad at your dumb tweets." He was getting so mad and something anti-Semitic. I don't know, but then he was like, "You fucking," he's like, "Embiid was hurt." And I go, "When has he not been hurt?"
Right,
When
and
it
it's not
matters.
going to stop happening as you get older. It's only going to get worse. He's the fucking worst. I swear to God, he only watches the Phillies just to fucking bother me about them. Every time it's Mets Phillies, like I'm not even.
What's his number one Philly team? The Eagles.
Yeah. Every time it's like ball in the glove, strike 3, game over. Bzz. Like immediately, Mets are gay, Phillies are good. Like that's it. Mets gay, Phillies good, and then the Mets will win the next game.
The
and
sports shit talking part of his brain hasn't grown since he was like 13.
Yes, it's the same thing as when you're in like 7th grade, and then the Mets will win, and I'll say something back. He goes, "Baseball's gay, dude. I don't give a shit." I'm like, "Oh, you win again, Gillis." It's so frustrating.
I was at game 2 when DiVincenzo hit the amazing 3.
Yeah.
Hardenstein with 2
for that?
amazing plays. I was courtside for that game with my buddy Chase. We're fucking courtside. We're losing. We're like with 30-something seconds left. We're like, tough loss. Like game's over. And then somehow we get the fucking
It was like a Reggie Miller
the
type
pass
shit.
out to DiVincenzo, misses the first, takes this, no hesitation. I fucking love those guys.
The fact that he took that second shot, no problem. Like you just bricked it. You're not thinking to yourself like, "Oh no,
He's money."
Just shoot or shoot, baby.
And then Hardenstein who gets not only the rebound in the pass, but also gets the block to win
Yes,
the
the
game.
block.
I love that
and
guy.
then he's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Oh, he's amazing.
Man.
I'm not a basketball guy, so I'm not the guy to know. But like I followed along with the Celtics playoff run, and like I'm watching like Luka Doncic. I've obviously heard of him, but I couldn't tell you anyone else on the Mavericks. Tyrese Halliburton. I saw when you guys were playing them. I was like, I have no idea who the fuck that guy is.
Indiana was still pretty blah.
You
But you
have-
look at like Denver and Jokic,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
Giannis
even think
and the Bucks.
Indiana enjoyed winning that because we were so crippled as
Yeah.
a team. It's like, yeah, you won, but like we had no one.
It sucks. I mean, they were down like 5 guys.
It
They were
sucks.
playing like their 9th, 10th, and 11th guys off the bench.
It just
That's
sucks.
not-
OG tried to play and he just
I
couldn't
know.
move.
Yeah.
Josh
Hart
was
had
so
his
hurt.
fucking. What do you think of their podcast? Have you listened to that?
I don't listen to the whole episodes, but I watch
see
like
the
all the
clips.
like little short clips, and I love.
They're
all
very
those.
funny together.
I love them.
I mean, they've been.
Yeah.
What a dream scenario! It's like a Saved by the Bell type script where they all stay together forever. You know what I mean?
college
So,
years?
college years, and now the NBA years. Like you win a
God,
title
Saved by the
together,
Bell, so-
and then
have
you.
you rewatched that at some point? It's so bad.
It's so
Is it
bad.
really?
It
Oh,
might
it's
be the
worst.
worst thing I've ever
Is
seen
it
in my
really?
life.
Like I'm shocked. Really?
Screech is like such a hateable character on that show. He's not even like how hard it is to be like the hateable nerd. Everyone loves the nerd from those shows.
I just saw a clip the other day of when Steve Urkel is turning back from Stefan Urkel.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest acting I've ever seen. He's doing this like twitching shit.
He
keeps
great.
going back and forth between the lines, and I was like, this guy, Jaleel White, what an actor, man. What an actor.
What the hell? Why didn't he get more work? That guy was fucking
He
great.
was probably completely typecast as Steve Urkel.
He was good on that shit. That whole cast was good. The dad was great.
Oh, the dad was unbelievable.
Dad's a diehard, though. He got some other stuff.
Yeah. I would imagine a lot of people were like, we can't cast you. Everyone's going to think you're Steve Urkel.
That fucking
You know who
sucks.
said that recently? Joffrey. He was like, I quit. He's like, I think he retired from acting.
Really?
Because he was
Is
just
that the
like,
Game of
I was
Thrones
not.
guy?
Yeah.
I
The
never
first
saw
like
Game
shitty
of
king.
Thrones.
Really?
I
I could
watch
see you
it.
not. I could see you being
I
like,
bet I would like it.
You think so?
Maybe not.
I don't know.
No, people love it, though.
Yeah.
It seems to be a lot more because I didn't really jump on House of Dragons, and I'd been saying House of Dragon, whatever it is, and I've been saying like if it becomes a cultural thing, I'll start watching again.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it seems like it is.
I think it's
Like Twitter every Sunday night is full.
Yeah. I think we're back to at least where like it's
That's a
appointment
good
TV.
show, the new one?
Yeah.
I haven't-
well,
Kevin
so
would know
the
better.
first
That guy
season.
from The Crown, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I forgot his name.
I forget his
but
name,
yeah,
but yes.
The first season is fucking fire, and when I watched it the first time, I was like, "This is good." We did a podcast about it. I rewatched it leading into the second season, where I was like focused and like not falling asleep on the couch on Sunday night, like that sort of shit. And I was like, "This is great." And then the premiere was good, and then we're only 2 episodes in. This last episode felt a little like Game of Thrones season 8, where they were just like kind of throwing things together, and I was like,
really?
That was the
That-
problem.
that scared
by the
me.
end,
But it was one
everyone's-
episode.
Okay.
problem- by the end, everyone's like, "You gotta watch it." And after every episode, they'd be like, "That was the worst shit I've ever seen." I'd be like, "All right, well, you're not selling me."
they had a weird run where it was like every fucking episode and every season was great, and then it was just a screeching halt. But they didn't have the books anymore. As soon as they didn't have the books, the show started to suck.
That's
I'm
hard.
fucking
I mean,
surprised. Now these are back to the books.
You know what my new show is that I love, and I just finished it, and I can't wait for the new season. Is have you seen the show Slow Horses on Apple?
Yo, dude.
That's my
With
shit.
old Gary Oldman?
Yes.
I love it.
Yes,
Yeah,
the-
dude.
Oh.
Although I don't like
What-
his farting. I don't like why he's so flatulent. Like, why is he always
Why are
gross
you
fart?
so flatulent? Is a great line.
I love.
That's like
He's so funny on it.
is
though.
it a like continuous series?
They
It's
did
like
the
new people. I mean, he's there, right?
No,
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 it's
the same people every
the
time?
same. Yeah.
Cast. Dude, it's killer.
Yeah,
I love
Slow
it.
Horses is
It's just
great.
good writing, man. It's like, and that's a book series. You just grab a good book series.
Yeah,
and
and just
enjoy it.
stick with it. Just stay with the
Yeah.
books, man.
KFC Radio is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, comparison is a thief of joy, but it is very, very easy to envy other people's lives. Particularly nowadays with social media, Instagram, all that. You can spend all day scrolling, seeing everyone else's highlight reel, wondering why your life isn't as great as theirs, when in reality, that's not theirs. The benefits of therapy that I've found is that you can help get around that, help find ways to get past that. And honestly, the answer is always just look inward. Like, the problem is within. The call is coming from inside the house. But there are a lot of other strategies and tools and tips and tricks that you can learn to help deal with that through therapy. If you're thinking of giving it a try, do better. Use BetterHelp. It's entirely online, designed to be flexible, easy to fit your schedule, all that good stuff. You can do it through text. You can do it through phone chats. You can do it through video chats. Whatever you're most comfortable with, BetterHelp can do that for you. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist. So you can stop comparing, start focusing with BetterHelp. All you have to do is visit betterhelp.com/KFC and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/KFC, 10% off your first month.
The Bodega Cat.
Yeah.
Bro, I think we have a bottle around here somewhere.
Yeah,
I didn't
somewhere.
realize...
We're at the Comedy Cellar now. We're at the Stand. I think New York Comedy Club.
Was it in the New York Times recently?
No, that you're making up, I think.
But you put up...
Just run with it, just
It's
run
not at Times, but it's something like of that caliber.
We
I
got
think.
written up. Something wrote us up.
Yeah,
It's,
like something big because you put it on your social media. Not you, but we might be drunk. Did I think?
Yeah. No, it's we did the Brooklyn convention, the Brooklyn Bar Convention. Yeah. He pulled it out of the garbage in the back. We did the Brooklyn Bar Convention, and we had success there. I mean, it was a lot of people. You know, we have a guy Matt who's running the company now, but we.
I'm gonna find who said it because it was someone.
It was pretty.
Is that something like
pretty
set it
cool.
and forget it for you guys?
What do you mean?
Like, are you involved in all of it at this point, or is like
we
like,
try to be. Yeah, we have
Right.
a new batch coming, and this one, current batch of Bodega Cat is 2 years, but the new bottle is going to be 3 years aged.
That's what's cool about it. As you can start doing more and more.
Yeah, we're going to do, I think, a sherry cask or like a port or rum cask. I love when they do like weird spins on the whiskey and like, you know, I love like Lagavulin. I saw Nick Offerman doing these ads for Caribbean rum cask. I'm like, oh, that looks so fucking good.
Yeah. When you get into the whiskey world, it's like there's enough shit to learn about that. It's like, what type of wood is the fucking barrels and what type, how long, how many years, and what do they finish it with, and if you add this much, then it's not technically called, you know, this anymore. There's a whole nerd world to it that makes.
And we're learning. We're novices. I mean, people get mad at us. So like, you said it would be, you know, it'd be available 2 years ago in New York, and like, yeah, it turns out we underestimated a very difficult business. We don't know what we're doing. We're not liquor business.
I was gonna say, also, we've learned in this game that getting licenses and distribution and all this shit, it never apparently goes well. Or maybe that's just us. I don't know.
Oh,
but
dude,
it never goes
brutal.
well.
It took years. I mean, but you know, you just stick with it. Like, we love having a whiskey, and we're kind of like, we did this for fun. If it works out, cool.
Even better, yeah.
If not, but like, we kind of just like having a whiskey.
Yeah. It's almost, it's like a more realistic version of owning a bar. Like, owning a bar is a fucking nightmare.
A lot of maintenance, a lot of work.
Yeah, this is like, we own a whiskey.
And also, I drink it on the road. I like the ritual of, you know, in the morning making my coffee, and at night
say something else,
and jacking off. No, I like the ritual in the morning of making my coffee, and I like making a cocktail. I like making a Manhattan. I like making a Boulevardier. I like making a fucking.
What's in a Boulevardier?
It's basically just a Negroni, but with whiskey instead of gin. So it's 1 part whiskey, 1 part sweet vermouth, and 1 part Campari. I like Campari in anything. I'm a big. I think Campari cocktails are fucking great.
You like the bitter, huh?
I do. I love Negronis too. Sometimes on a hot summer day, I'll just do a little Campari and soda. I love it's just like an old man Italian drink. I like how the Italians. I like how the Italians drink. And I love. I love that. I mean, I fucking love a sidecar, man. I mean, little, you know, what's the liquor? The orange liqueur. I forgot the name of it. But I love that. I love whiskey cocktails are my favorite, but I'll get fucked up on a martini. Love a good oh man, like
absolutely.
Go over to the Strip House on 12th Street. They'll make like a martini with those blue cheese olives. I'm like, fuck, that's a good shit. You have a steak with that.
Dude, I'm not particularly a vodka guy or an olive guy, but for some reason a martini I
just
fucking love.
They hit, and it's like you feel like you're Roger Sterling and Mad Men.
I do think there's something to the romanticizing of it all, because if you just poured it in like a solo cup, I don't know, whatever, I'd be like, I'm just drinking a cup of vodka right now.
That's how Liz at the Comedy Cellar. Liz, I don't know if you guys got to come by the cellar sometime. Yeah. But Liz, the manager of the cellar, is like one of my closest friends. She'll just drink martinis out of a pint glass.
Yeah, it's just like I don't need the fuss.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of coming by the cellar, thank you very much.
Yeah. What?
Because I came by recently for one of your shows.
When were you there?
Like, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago.
Oh shit! I must have sucked.
You were great. It was you, Keith Robinson, Birbiglia dropped in.
Oh shit!
And it was. Dude,
how funny is Keith right now?
He's
like in the zone. I mean, that whole show's sick, but like Keith, you know, 2 strokes, he's still going there. It takes him forever to get around the corner because what happened.
It was such a long pause between the set before him ending. We're like, what's happening? But it was because I texted you that day or DM'd you that day, and I was like, hey, sorry. Any chance I get in tonight? Because my dad was coming down. His dad had just passed away, and he was like so sad. And he was like, that Sam Morril guy, he's unbelievable. My dad's not like a huge comedy guy, but I had told him that Sam got us in tonight. Let's go see some comedy, and it like completely changed his night.
Comedy
and,
helps,
life.
man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just even if it only takes your mind off some shit for like 90 minutes, that's 90 minutes you're smiling. Something good.
That's exactly what he said. Like 10 times that night.
I forget to enjoy it myself because it's my job. So I will forget that it's. But I watched when I was on Fully Loaded with Bert. I just watched Attell's set, and Dave Attell just like transports me back to being a child.
Yeah,
where like you're just a kid really forgetting about all the bullshit in your life and laughing and like. Dave's that new joke is so many great ones, but that joke where he goes, but I'm a Biden man. Hunter Biden. Just like the misdirects. I'm like, oh my God. Or when he said about getting, he goes, I just got hit by a guy in a city bike. It was my fault. I was on the sidewalk. I mean, he speaks almost like if an old detective just had like the perfect one-liners. There's something so grizzled and grumpy about him and so New York. Colin Quinn does the same shit to me. Like, there's something about like cranky New Yorkers that just like, I just feel it. Like, so I relate to it. But yeah, like, I forget that, you know, when I was a kid, I saw David Tell at Caroline's and it like changed my life, you know, or like you'd see, I remember seeing, you know, at the comic strip, Bill Burr or like all these guys and they were just, you know, Kevin Brennan murdered. Like, it was amazing to see those guys. And, you know, it's something you want to go back to, like, go back to like laughing with your friends when you were a kid and you didn't have like problems and like real life shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And particularly in like a place like the Cellar where you're shut off from the world.
Yeah.
Well, they make you get rid of the
You
phone.
don't have your phone, but you feel like you're in like you're downstairs,
you're in like a comedy
entering.
cave. Yeah.
It was honestly like a really important night. So thank you very much.
My pleasure, man.
Do you think you'll just do it till you're like 60, 65?
I hope I'm doing it longer
forever?
than that. Holy shit, 65. I mean, shit.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you think you'll do it till you're dead?
Yeah, I think that's.
Cause
I mean, unless I have a fucking terrible death, unless I'm on like a fucking life support or something.
You go skydiving one time.
Like,
You
I hope
think
I
you'll
do
still like be on the road and everything?
I don't know. I don't know like how my body's going to hold up. Like, this is the first year I really like took care of myself. I mean, you know, I will like exercise now and like I'm trying to do stuff so I'm like so I don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Like I had a fucked up neck for the longest time. I had to like really work to improve that. And
You use that
feel
thing, right? That iron neck thing?
I use that.
Yeah.
I also that's like a physical therapy thing. That's like it gets you started, but then you really have to build strength around your neck and shoulders, you know, and then I just got stronger and I feel better. But you know that's maintenance. Like you gotta take care of yourself because there's nothing worse than like having a fucking pulled neck on the road for like months. I remember just being like in a constant state of like my friends were just like, you know, make fun of me the whole time. Gary Veter's
You're
just
like an old man, right?
Yeah, you're miserable to be with. So yeah, I want to enjoy the road. I want to get work done. I want to. Yeah, ideally, I don't know if I want to do like 50 weeks a year when I'm in my 60s, but I want to.
Well, because it's
I want to
funny,
be able
like,
to do it.
Some people keep going forever, and I feel like other people don't. And I wonder what the difference is there. Is if it's just a talent thing or a
In
money
Joan
thing
Rivers'
or a
case,
drive
bad
thing.
doctors. You know? I think it depends. Like I think Joan would have been doing it till the end. You know?
Yeah.
And I think Don Rickles was doing it till the end. And
Yeah.
I think Henny Youngman was able to like go up at the end. I think it depends. Dangerfield was doing it up until the end. There's footage of him like very old doing comedy. Carlin and Pryor was in terrible shape.
Yeah.
You know, MS. But
You're such as like a student of comedy. Like when like sitting down with you, like you reference so many old comics and stuff like that. How prevalent is that in comedy? Like, are you the outlier, or have most people like?
Well, my
studied you?
immediate circle of friends they're very into comedy. Like Mark Norman, Joe List, we're on text threads all the time, where we're just like we'll like send bits or like a set we like or something. So yeah, we love. I sent a bit yesterday to them, and we just started talking about this comic who passed away years ago. He killed himself, Richard Jenny, who was, I thought, like hilarious. Man, we all love him. So he had a joke where he said, I just had a random track come on where he said, you know what the difference between every woman I've ever dated and Charles Manson is? Charles Manson had the decency to look like a nut when you first met him. And I was like, God, that's a good bit. So I said that to them, and then just turned into a whole Richard Jenny discussion, like how much we liked him. And you know, Mark or Joe will do the same thing. We'll see, like they'll see a late night set, like, oh, you should check out this kid. This guy's funny, or something, you know, something like that.
I think you can almost tell. Like I bet if you were to make a list and say which ones you think do and don't, I bet you'd be pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I know, but I know a
you'd
lot
be
of
like
comics who
90%
like
clip.
don't know comedy at
Yeah.
all, who just are like, I was funny. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
say, like I remember. I mean, I am working on a TV show with Mike Lawrence, who I think is a fucking incredible joke writer, incredible comedy mind. And Mike, we bonded. We were open micers together, and Mike was like, "No, I didn't like stand up. I like The Simpsons. I like South Park. I don't like that stuff." But then over time, I think he's like grown an appreciation for it, because Mike was a really killer stand-up. I don't think he still goes on the road sometimes, but he's more of a TV writer now. But I mean, Mike was a killer comic when he'd go up. I mean, he was like, I mean, shit. I mean, we pitched a show. We didn't. It's a whole fucking. It's very hard to sell a show right now. We pitched a show. We had fucking Sandler's company producing. I love the show. We're not going to give up on it, but we completely struck out everywhere.
Really?
Mike,
Even with Sandler's backing?
it's tough, man. It's tough out there to make a show. But my thought is like, the show's not going to die if you don't let it die. Thank God they're not letting it die. So they're getting us to write a pilot still. They're going to fund that. We'll see what happens.
Madison, you mean?
Yeah, so we'll see which is very rare. So I think we'll see what happens from there. Bless you.
Thank you.
But I think what happens is, we'll see what we can do. It's not a cheap. It's not like a super cheap show, but it's also not insanely expensive. I wrote parts for literally 3 of my best friends.
Well, dude,
Stavros, Rachel, and Gary Veter. Rachel Feinstein, Gary Veter, and then I need a big actor to play my biological dad because he is like a big part of the show, and I need like a real fucking I want it to be like. I basically wrote him to be like a version of Orson Welles, like a pretentious asshole who like peaked early in life and then just fucked up and kept fucking up and walked out in the family and now wants to be a part of my life. And it was hilarious watching Mike riff in every pitch because we killed in every pitch. It's just half of these favorite streamers are like, yeah, we can't. We don't have money for this.
Yeah.
Right.
They have money for a new Hitler 6-part series, I guess. But
with
that story hasn't been told yet.
Bro, the art on that is the
was
funniest
good.
thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's actually a really good series.
It's Hitler. It's like him cut in half. It's a new Netflix series.
Yeah.
And like this side is colorized and this side's in like red and black. And it's
the
kind
two
of
sides of Hitler.
like here's the other like the other like which one's the evil one? Like they're all we were aware that Hitler had an evil side.
Curveball, neither.
Yeah.
He was no. I want to do a joke about fucking. I was watching with my friend, and one of them was like, who should play Hitler in a movie is Kevin Spacey, and he's like, he'd be great. And my other friend was like, yeah, but he's canceled, and I was like, he can't play Hitler. That's
That
fucking
would be a funny,
Something there,
like an
right?
agent being like, "You're canceled, dude. There's only one role you can play.
Yeah,
Go do all
that's
the
how we
Hitler
bring him
movies."
back, right? But yeah,
But look at what happened with tires.
well,
to
me, I think that's a great example. But also, this is how fucked up the business is. Is Shane financed that show?
Yeah.
And Shane's playing arenas. I mean, Shane is as hot a comic right now as there is, and he still
still had to do it
had to
himself.
self-finance it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I think they also wanted his special, so it was like a package deal. So, but that's how hard it is for a comic to make a show right now. I just don't think they're making that many comedies. I wrote a movie with Mark Norman. We're trying to
How is
sell.
that possible though? Because and when you come on the internet, it's every podcast.
That's probably why, because they're like,
You
it's
get
hard to
access to
compete
them?
with. I think the fact that we all have ended up making a good living at this has also hurt us on that other end.
Yeah.
It's like people on their phones watching clips. They're watching
Right.
TikTok. These companies, these streamers are competing with social media. Because we used to watch a
don't you
movie
think,
before
like,
bed. They're watching TikTok.
I feel like Tires would have been like the case study for them to be like, these people watch these guys all the time and watch the clips, and then they went and watched the show.
I think that's why Happy Madison's sticking with us.
Yeah.
Because they
because
they saw what happened with Tires, and they were with Tires originally.
Oh, wow.
And then because of the strike, they went their own way because they couldn't be a part of a show during the strike,
Right,
I think, or something
right.
like that. But they were like, shit, we don't want to lose another show we like. And I really do love this show, so I hope. I mean, there's so many fucking funny parts of this show, but. I won't give up on it. I'll put it that way.
How much do you think?
It'll
How much would
exist.
it
It might
cost?
take me a few years.
Like, how much does it cost to fund a season of a show like that?
Depends who I could get to play my dad. A lot of that would be there, but and it's a New York show, so there's not gonna be a ton of exterior shots, but it's not gonna be like super
But
cheap.
okay, so let's say you like taking out this actor that a dream actor, whatever he would cost. Like, how much are you spending for like a first season?
I'm
I
not a
think
producer,
Shane said
so I don't
what?
know.
A million. I think Shane took out $1 million.
Yeah, but
for Tires.
Shane had the great idea to do everything. I mean, look, it's an on location, basically a workplace comedy,
Right.
Right, you're just one spot,
so
like, the whole time.
That helped them there.
Yeah.
Look, it could be done cheaply. I mean, a lot of it's at a bar. I mean, it is like a lot of us living at a bar, basically. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a producer. I don't know that stuff. I'm the one trying to create the world. But yeah, every once in a while, like Norman and I wrote a movie, and we have producers for that now, and they're like, if we have to cut this scene, we'll make it cheap. Like, we wrote a scene on a yacht, and they're like, let's see if we could. We just thought it was funny. We wrote a lot of scenes that we just thought, We wrote it with Mark Norman, Noah Garden-Schwartz, and Esther Steinberg. We wrote together. And Noah wrote on Miss Maisel for a bunch of seasons and stuff. He's great at like creating a story, and it's about two struggling liquor salesmen. So I think we're going to sell that movie eventually. Movies are, I think, weirdly probably easier to get going than.
It's strange that like it is
Less
hard
investment
to do it because if you're a studio, you're first of all you're buying a good product.
Yeah.
That as long as you like it, you're buying a good product. It's like you're buying an audience. Like you're talking about the popularity of clips and podcasts and stuff like that. So it stands to reason that at least 70% of your listeners are going to watch the movie, more than that. So you're buying the audience.
You know what's crazy is it's totally true. Also, the executives are just in and out. Like Mike would make a joke in every pitch meeting where he would go, we just got some great notes from our Uber driver. He used to be a network exec. And it got like a really nervous laugh. The Amazon person we pitched to quit. The Hulu exec we pitched to got fired. So it's like two people. It's only a few months
So
ago.
then it goes to the back of the pile or whatever.
So who knows? No, I mean, it just means it's a new person, so we can maybe even repitch it. Who knows? But I think the Amazon person left because they just weren't making comedies. They don't make that many comedies.
I don't get why there's this like.
I think they're all losing money. I think streaming is the only thing, but it's not working.
It's like everybody's almost complaining about there's no more Superbads and Will Ferrell type movies and the comedy is dead and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, but I think comedy audiences are bigger than ever. So why the fuck is it not working? Like everybody just go watch the movies or go stream the whatever, because if you want that genre to like exist, you have to make it worth the executive's while.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Everybody listens to these podcasts. Now everybody watches the specials. Everybody has their favorites. And if they go outside
Specials
of that,
are cheaper to make, though. Even if it's a big comic, they're paying less than they'd be spending on a movie, and those do really well. I think Netflix.
Yeah, so maybe that's it. Maybe it's like you guys need to like stop doing so much
stand up.
Yeah,
well, no,
I
I think
get
also
you too easily.
Netflix can invest not that much money in a stand-up special, and it'll still trend and do well because they've got that audience. But I do think like it's tough because I think the movies we grew up loving are kind of gone. Yeah, like I think a movie now will be either dirt cheap or like the Avengers. There's no middle ground, and I kind of love those like $20 to $60 million like thrillers.
I always said that.
Everybody says that, so it's like there is a market for it if these studios just do it.
I miss movies like There's Something About Mary and Dumb and Dumber, and fucking all these comedies we saw growing up. So I do think there's an audience for it. I think they fucked up by trying to put them in movie theaters. I don't think people are going to the movie theater to see a comedy. I think now when you go to the movie theater, you want to see a horror movie.
Blockbuster or something that you see
but that kind of bums me out.
But
Because
that's dumb of people. That's dumb of the audience because you're going to enjoy it so much more
when people are laughing.
Particularly a comedy.
I think they're spending that money on seeing live stand-up, which they weren't back then.
Okay.
So I get
that could be.
So I think like just make it for streamers. But I remember seeing The Hangover in a packed theater and being like, wow, this is like one of the most fun nights ever.
Yes.
Bridesmaids in a packed theater was great.
For sure.
I mean, I do miss that a little bit.
You get some funny black people in the crowd yelling out shit. It's great.
It's great.
It makes the experience so much funnier.
I do miss it, but I don't think it's dead. I think they just have to find a way to make it
work.
Well,
what they need is like one to work and then a second one to work, and then it's like
I think Tires is working.
Yeah,
so I think you just have to ride that wave a little. That's
you guys really are like kind of pioneering it, so it still is the
early. Shane pioneered that. That was very cool.
But I'm saying in general, this crop of comedians are the ones who are leading the way, like through the internet into the streaming world. And like it's going to take a while to knock down.
Well, with all these YouTube specials, we might be architects of our own destruction. We might be like,
at what point?
Well, they're like, well, you're the reason that we're getting fucking hit by YouTube. But
it's your fault. You guys, you did too well on YouTube, and now everybody's got a fucking YouTube special.
But then you have to be aware of what's the next step, right? Because YouTube worked, but then now everyone's doing YouTube. Now it's oversaturated. You got to find the next step, and I think that's what. We'll see what that is, but I do think
YouTube is still, as much as it feels oversaturated. I mean, YouTube has just become like the internet. You know what I mean? There's like 600 million people a day on YouTube. It's like
crazy.
It's
too many people.
You can try to find what's next, but also I don't think anything will. You can't like compete with that. You know what I mean? It's just too good and too big of a video platform. But the idea of like, what do you do with it next. All right, we're used to YouTube specials. Now is it a YouTube show or YouTube this or YouTube that? I don't think it's necessarily the platform, but what the kind of content is next, because I do think we're probably reaching a point of like special, not even saturation, almost like aversion. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to watch those specials.
I get people hitting me up doing like, I've people trying to help me, and they're like, well, you should do a collab with this person. I'm like, first off, I don't want to hear that word. They're like, you should do this thing with this person. I'm like, I want to make good shit. Yeah. I think that's the thing. That's why the specials we're working on YouTube is because that was like really honed material, and we really workshopped it. I think that's hopefully the next thing, is that like, in the age of all this content, quantity really became king instead of quality.
Clips,
and I think maybe it's going to swing back to quality.
Yeah.
And I think it's already starting to swing.
You know what I love? Gary Veter's special with his dad, I think, is such
the podcast?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you listen to the most recent one?
I haven't started because I want to I need to listen through it.
I'm in a couple episodes. I'm so proud of him. It really Gary Veter, one of my best friends in the world, did a podcast about his con artist father. And the shit his dad did is, the deeper you get, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
You got raided by the fucking U.S. Marshals?
Yeah.
You got fucking...
it's a true, like, Catch Me If You Can, Leo DiCaprio,
it's
Frank Abagnale
crazy,
shit.
And you don't realize how... a lot of my friends that I I've had for years, they've kept stuff from me. And it's not like they did it just to me. They did it to the world. I think they weren't ready to share this. One of my best friends, Gary Veter, never talked about his dad to me. He just said he had a bad dad. It was
really?
Like, oh, okay. One of my other closest friends, Anthony DeVito, we're doing a one-man show now about his dad getting killed by the fucking mob. He was a hitman.
Holy shit.
These are two of my closest friends. I didn't know this about either of them, because that's how guys are.
Yeah.
Women, they would be like, they would tell you this like, boom.
Right.
Guys, like,
Nice
really,
to meet you. My dad got killed by the mob.
but these guys really they held it in.
Yeah.
Because that was just how they were. And Anthony DeVito, I was like, I thought his dad died from cancer forever. And they're like, well, you had a bad dad. I'm like, yeah, he just left. Yeah. He wasn't a fucking hitman for the mob.
He murdered people.
Yeah, so
he just murdered my childhood. That's all.
No, he really saved it, because I got a good stepdad swoop in. I got like, not to rub it in, but things were great.
But that idea that like a concept of the con man dad, and watch these episodes, listen to these episodes. Do I find him in the end? Like,
yeah,
it's just most people. And we're, probably guilty of it. We're just like, turn the mics on and let's just fucking go and spit it and whatever.
We all do it.
Get back to But
the fact that he turned it into like a 30 for 30 style, highly produced music, tension, these great interviews. Like, he wrote monologues for each episode. And Gary's a great writer, if you know his stand-up. So... yeah, no, it blew me away.
That's something I wouldn't be surprised.
My lawyers texted me, oh my God, what happens? And he's like, no, don't tell me. Like, my cousin texted me, like, spoilers, please. I'm like, do you really want them? I'll tell you. But
he almost told me, and I didn't realize. I thought he was still in the process of finding him in real time. And then at the end of the interview, he was like, so you'll find out if I saw him or not, if I find him or not. And I was like, right now? Like, fuck, get out of the room. I don't want to know, because I want to know, but I don't want to know.
It's made for guys like you, too, because it's like, it's got the sports element, but it's also got like the comedy element, and just like anyone can relate to this, like, family dysfunction. Even if you have a good family, you're grateful for that. You have a bad family, you're like, fuck.
Same thing for me, yeah.
It's made to be like a TV show or a movie.
I think more of that stuff where people realize that, like, you guys are just talented, and it doesn't have to just be stand-up. It can be a show. It can be a documentary. It can be a this. It can be a that.
But that's where we need creative people on the other end. Like, I'm very lucky to have, people around me who are, like, creative in ways that I'm not, So with stand-up, like, I'm not complaining. I hear a lot of people saying, like, comedians are never happy with their career. The group I'm surrounded with seems grateful as fuck. Like, we're like, holy shit, we beat the odds. Things are going great. I get to, I'm in Rochester this weekend. It's like sold out. I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm going to New York. It's like 5 shows. I just get to like work on my jokes.
Yeah.
And no, it's the best. It's
What'd you think of the roast? I thought maybe you were going to be on that
I would have loved to.
Yeah, I
I
thought you
only
could've.
saw a few of them. I was like skipping around. Julian Edelman's my friend, so I sent him a few, and he used a couple. And I was like, oh shit,
he was great. He delivered it
I
really
love
well.
him.
Yeah.
I love him, and he
when Nikki called him a squinty-eyed fuckboy, I was laughing. Though he does.
she annihilated.
His eyes are never open.
Yeah, no, everyone on it was good. Really, I thought. But Julian.
Do you think you weren't on it because the new one, Sam Morril, you've changed as a Prime?
No, I think
No?
they probably just had their people already.
But everyone up there is a Netflix comic, right?
I don't know. Maybe, but
I didn't think of that.
it's possible. But
Against the family. Is there anything like that? Like in the business, it's like if you go with one streamer, the other one stops calling.
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But now that you mention it, I was on Letterman the year I had a Netflix special, and I was on Is It Cake? So maybe I got blackballed. Who the fuck knows? No, I would have loved to. I love doing stuff like that. But I was also excited for Julian. So I was like, when he was sending me a set, I was kind of like, oh, I love this one. Oh, I don't know about this. I bet like this is killer.
Yeah.
And he was nervous in a good way. But he really is.
He delivered it.
He's got-
He ran
podium
it.
and
I'm sure
stuff.
you know that. He ran it at the Comedy Store the night before.
I told him to.
Yeah.
I was like, and I'm sure Jeff Ross did as well, but I said like, hey man, just really, I know how much how you approach football. Like you're a late pick, you had to work your way up. And he's like, I know you respect comedy. I was like, run it, please.
Right,
Like I know you're gonna be nervous, but you're gonna be nervous at the roast too. Like just get a couple under your belt so you know what to expect. And there's differences when you run a roast joke, because sometimes you're selling it to an audience who's like may not know what Drew Bledsoe looks like.
Yeah,
or who,
right.
But
so
in the
I
moment,
think
you're
I
gonna
talked to
know.
him
He
very
did good, too,
briefly
by the way.
afterwards.
Yeah.
And I think he said it did not do so well at the store, which makes sense. I forget. It was something along those lines where he wasn't like sure how it was after the store.
But you can run stuff, and I thought he approached, when you approach stuff with humility, he always does. Like he was so. I mean, I used to do the pod with him. I loved working with him.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that's the difference in anything. The people who act entitled or the people who keep grinding.
Yeah,
I feel like that plays in.
I mean, that's his career in a nutshell. I mean, he always
that
approached
stupid
it.
son of a bitch.
He always approached it with
That
a lot of
fucking catch, man. That one where the ball's
In the
an
Super
inch off
Bowl?
the ground.
I was at
That
that game.
one
I was
haunts
like,
me more than
there's no
almost
chance he
anything.
caught that ball. And then they showed the jumbotron. And I was
He
like,
knew it.
Holy
He knew
fuck,
it.
he caught
Yeah,
that.
I remember being like, nah, game's over. Like, it's a wrap. Fucking
He was so
centimeters,
clutch. He was
dude.
clutch on the big stage always. I mean,
Son of a
all
bitch.
those guys were Gronk, Jules, Amendola. All those guys delivered.
Very.
all those Patriot whites really, they really stepped up.
Amendola was the butt of like the meanest joke of the show, when Belichick just roasted him.
What did he say?
It was just like, yeah. The only time Amendola got mentioned the whole show was like, yeah, Danny showed up first year, 300 yards, second year, 400 yards, or as Randy used to call it, a good half.
Wow.
And then they cut it to the camera to Amendola, and he did not think that was funny. Or maybe I just saw that. But the Belichick had maybe the two best jokes of the night, when he also said to Gronk was doing does the Sunday show, Fox Sports. And he's like, Gronk, I know I used to always tell you, do your job. I'm begging you, stop doing your job.
Oh wow.
Dude,
Gronk is awesome.
We haven't talked about Bill, by the way.
I did a
we?
private event with Gronk once where we did this like steel companies. They paid us way too much money to do this thing. Gronk is there. I'm there to do comedy. Gronk is there to just party.
Yeah.
So he's got the. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know which of our jobs was harder that night. But these people are getting fucked up. Gronk is like just spraying champagne all over a
he's gonna do is
crowd.
like spike a drink and it's like, oh, there's your
Well,
money.
like Gronk and I were like toasting like Truly cans and chugging them, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I still got to go on. And Gronk's like, oh fuck, this could be rough. I'm like, it's gonna be rough. I can tell. Crowd's wasted. It's like an open bar in San Antonio in I think the Aztec Theater, beautiful theater, but they're just, dude, it's one of those crowds that are heckling me like, you suck. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, well, just 29 more minutes. All right.
The check's gonna clear.
And then like, I've done enough hell gigs where like by minute 15, they were like, oh, okay, this guy's actually not bad. But I had to fucking prove it. I'm like fucking riffing. I'm doing whatever. Every road hack trick in the book I'm doing to survive. But it took me I'd say 25 minutes before I'm getting my first like hard laughs. So I got like 5 minutes of good comedy out of 30 minutes. But just like, I'm like, a private event, they're yelling, you suck. I got to show you the video of the owner. He's like, of the company. He's like a German guy who runs a steel company. And he was just like, he comes over to me and Gronk and kisses us both on the lips. And we're like, what the fuck is happening?
What a move.
He was like, but he was the sweetest guy. I was like, we're going to get fucking whacked. But no, he was, it was such a weird gig, but
I love hearing
he
about
was
those,
fucking,
those,
Gronk was gone.
those
He was
stories.
like, oh my
Stefano
God.
did one for Steve Cohen that his wife set up. And it was just like the worst setup for comedy like ever. It was a bunch of big wigs, and Cohen just said to him, What did my wife like tell you to do? And he was like, I'm supposed to do like an hour. It was something really long, like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll double your money to cut it in half and get out of here.
Wow.
And so he did
That's
it.
a good guy.
And then they were,
I was supposed to do one of those.
they were throwing food at him and shit. They were
hit
just
me
like
up.
disrespecting the fuck out of him.
They hit me up for one of those gigs, and my agent asked for too much money, I think. And,
Oh, yeah?
But I'm like, he's a billionaire.
I was going to say,
Fucking-
good, that's a good agent. That's a good agent.
Yeah.
Do we have some voicemails, Pass? Well, we got some videos from our listeners, and then we'll get you out of here.
Sweet.
What's up, KFC fights the rest of the gang. I have a bone to pick with the t-shirt industry. I think we need some type of national definition of what pre-shrunk means.
Yeah.
Because I'll get like, I'll normally fit between like a large and an XL, and I'll always buy the XL if it's 100% cotton or whatever, and I'll put it in the wash and the dryer for the first time. Won't even do anything crazy. And I'll put it on like low heat, maybe medium heat when I'm drying it, and comes out if it's like a schmedium. Like, what is all that about? What do they mean by pre-shrunk before they mail it out to their customers or whatever? And on that same note, international sizes. I mean, I know we're Americans and we're fat as shit. I mean, look at me. And, you know, we want to make ourselves feel better about ourselves, so we'll wear like a Carhartt medium and it'll be like a triple XL in China or something like that. Like one time I went to Greece and I was trying on just like a button-down shirt and I couldn't even like get it close. Like it was like coming to my nipples. Like it was crazy small compared to any other XL that I'm trying on. So
Yeah, this is
What are
part
your
of my
thoughts on
like my presidential platform
Yeah,
is that we
love
need
you
to
guys. Peace out.
re-regulate sizing of shirts, because what used to be like extra large meant like you were fucking extra large.
Yeah.
You're like a bigger person that needs a shirt that is cut bigger, and now it's like, I mean, everything has just moved up one. Smalls don't even like exist. Smalls are like for girls. Mediums are larges are XLs, and if you're like really fat, I don't even know if they, what do they do for
dude,
you now?
I went to a pop-up because this guy, Bacher Backpages, makes these cool, I always wear these weird Knicks shirts that are like, I love them. And Jamel, one of the door guys, the seller, is such a big Knicks fan, so I want to surprise him with a shirt. And I'm texting Liz. I'm like, what size is Jamel? And she goes, 4XL. I'm like, oh, come on. It's a pop-up. I'm trying to... I'm like, can he squeeze into a 3XL? She was like, no. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I mean,
He doesn't look... I mean, he's big, but he doesn't look that big.
But that's the problem.
That's the problem.
It used to be he'd probably be like a double XL. Now
Yeah.
he's got to wear like 5X because we shifted
those
it
are
like the
hard to
girls.
find, yeah.
And I know it's a fact because I bought if you buy old clothes from the 90s, I got shit off of eBay, whatever. You get an XL, it's a fucking it looks like a sailboat sail. It's huge. So I don't know why we decided to scale everything down. Maybe like you said, you want to like feel skinny or whatever. But
I think that's what it
and if
is.
you do wear any like European clothes, it's like, first of all, I don't know their sizing, so it's like, this is a size like 5 or 7. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means, but it does not match up with. We almost need like the country's too big too. America can't have sizing across the board because we went down to Florida for Daytona and we were at a Bass Pro Shop and I was like, get me XLs. I wear XLs, and they were fucking down to my knees and hanging over my elbows because these guys actually wear XLs,
Yeah.
So, and I don't even believe in pre-shrunk. I don't even know what that means.
Pre-shrunk is
That's just a marketing thing. They don't.
But in that whole show, in that whole voicemail, the crazy thing about that was the shirt, which will remind you about the craziest thing. He had the Two Bears 5K shirt on, if you're just listening. Remember, so we went to the Two Bears 5K. We had one of our producers here, not in this room, but a producer at Barstool Sports.
Who's a normal guy.
Who ran a 5K that day here in New York in solidarity with the Two Bears 5K, and then asked us to bring him back a shirt because he'd ran the Two Bears 5K and he would like the merchandise from it. I was like, you didn't run the Two Bears 5K. You ran fucking 3 miles in New York City. That's not the Two Bears 5K.
I forgot. That is one of the craziest things. And like, you know, when someone at work is just a weirdo and it's like, yeah, that's a fucking weirdo. He did weirdo things. When I found out he did it, I was like, him? No. That is so unbelievably crazy.
Yeah, Jake
Hey,
Bass.
pick me up a shirt because I ran from the same distance across the country, as if it was like the whole. It's crazy. Everybody was there. Jelly roll. There's a DJ. It was all about the
Jelly Roll run
experience.
it?
He walked it very briskly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know who ran it insanely fast? Travis Barker.
The fastest man alive.
Travis
Really?
Barker fucking.
He looks like could be like a runner's body.
But
No,
I
bro,
think
this
of-
was like Kenya level. He ran a 5K in like 16 minutes. It was he went out with the crowd and me and Ryan
sprints.
Huh?
He sprints.
He
Just-
sprinted
he
the
just
whole thing.
sprinted the whole time.
Me and Sickler were just kind of walking it, and all of a sudden he's coming back with nobody in the pack. And I was like, did he? Yeah, by the way, you should probably go do this. You should probably go run with your boy.
So he's just a runner, this guy.
Yeah, so I think right after the 5K he announced this thing, so he's running in...
Wait, did you just call Travis Barker this guy?
Yeah.
Do you not know who Travis Barker?
No,
is?
I know he's Blink-182.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were just like, yeah, this guy,
No,
Travis.
I know
Barker.
he is. He's considered a great drummer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Well, one of the best, but more importantly, the fastest man alive. And the funniest thing was he went out with a pack. I'm assuming some people, maybe a couple friends, some cameramen, came back with none of them, hit the finish line, and just kept going. Got in his car and drove away. There was no like, let me meet up with Tom and Bert afterwards. I'm here for pictures. It was
Fucking
just
business. Yeah.
See
I'm here
you
to show
fucking
everyone
later.
how insanely fast I
Damn.
am, and then that's it.
All right, next voicemail.
I got to bounce for in a couple.
Oh, you can go.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
All right, well, let me. I got to piss too badly. Let me say,
we usually do this part.
New
afterwards.
special, July 9th, Amazon. Hope you watch it.
Good.
You guys are the best. Thanks.
Sam Morril,
You guys fucking rule.
you've changed. Yes, please.
People often throw shade at rent. They call it a bad long-term deal. Well, I am a renter. I'll probably fair to be a renter, but maybe not so fast, not with the help of Bilt. Because Bilt is the number one rewards program for paying your rent. Okay, so while you're paying your landlord, you're also secretly putting down money for perhaps your dream home or whatever you want, really, because they have deals that you can use on dream vacations. They have like 500 airlines, 700 hotel options. It is the dream, right? Paying rent and getting rewards, that's unheard of. It is literally unheard of because Bilt is the first people to do it. It also, if you're an old school person and you have to mail a check, Rent will mail the check for you. It's like having a secret assistant to pay your rent. Just kill the fly. But you can do it now too. You can earn points on your rent if you go to joinbilt.com/KFC. That's joinbilt.com/KFC. Make sure you use our URL so they know we sent you. Start earning points on your rent today.
Hey guys, I have a story and a question. So, when I was a kid, my parents would always read me the Shel Silverstein books, like, the Giving Tree. There were other ones besides that. I don't know. In the back of these books, there's this picture always of Shel Silverstein. And he always looked creepy as hell. Like, he honestly looked like an absolute freak. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I remember can picture this one, it's like black and white. I think he's holding a guitar. His foot's like by the camera. It's really weird. And so I'd always get really creeped out by this picture of Shel. And I also, when I was a kid, never wanted to go to bed, which is like normal for kids, I'd always go out into the living room where my parents were. I'd always be like, I can't sleep. And so eventually my parents were like, would point to the picture of Shel and say, if you don't stay in your bed, like, he's gonna be in the hallway. And they did that when I was younger, and I always thought it was such a funny story that happened to me. So I have been telling people that. I'm 21 now. I've probably been telling that since I was 14, when it like wasn't even an appropriate story to tell, because adults hear that and they're like, your parents did what? Like, it kind of seemed like it was something that traumatized me, even though I literally just tell it because I think it's so funny. Anyways, I was telling the story like a year ago, and this guy is like, that's from a Diary of a Wimpy Kid book. And I was like, no, it's from Shel Silverstein. And he's like, no, that's a story. That happens in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which I also avidly read. And I was like, are you serious? And I literally got home, looked in my book, like I found my old books. Well, first of all, I searched which book it was. I obviously wasn't going to read all of them. And I find it, and I'm like, wow, this is here. This happened. The exact same story, how Greg Heffley can't sleep, and his parents point to Shel in the book with his feet up and say, he's going to come get you. So I was like, wow, I thought this happened to me. Like, I thought I could picture my parents saying this. I could picture Shel in the hallway. Well, not actually. I could picture being scared of him being in my hallway. And so I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't think I was lying to you, like this, I had this realization, whatever. And you'd think I would find out that I was just making that up the whole time, unknowingly, but still, and be like, all right, I'm not going to tell that fake story anymore. No, I tell it all the time. I still tell it all the time. And it's such a funny story. No one really remembers that. It's harmless. I feel like it happened to me still, so... So my question is like, well, first of all, is that like bad? Okay. Second of all, what's a lie that you might tell that you fully know is false, but you just know it'll elicit, like a reaction, like something that you think is really funny?
Okay, first of all,
that's kind of heartless and you just tell it.
Do you know?
Or, I mean, maybe you don't want to expose what your lie is actually, but...
Do you know what Shel Silverstein looks like?
I don't. I think I'm picturing a musician I liked when I was a kid. I forget his fucking name now, but... Okay, that's what I was picturing, a beard and a bald head. I don't think it was exactly him.
This guy looks like a bad motherfucker. Yeah. This guy wrote Where the Sidewalk Ends and all that shit. This guy looks like he should be in fucking... Sam Crow. He should be in Sons of Anarchy, wearing a cut. Like, this guy is gangster.
Who's the musician that kids love, or kids loved? That was who I was picturing.
Here's the picture she's talking about with the foot and the guitar. He looks a little more friendly when he's smiling, but the bald head and like big beard, and he just looks like he will fuck you up. Never judge a book, man. This guy's that you're telling me that guy is out there, this dude looks like he's like, he looks like he fought with like Fidel Castro in Cuba to fight for communism, and he was out here just writing poetry, writing kids' poetry. I think that's a little bit weird. What do you think? I want to write children's books.
You do?
I think that's weird. I want to write specifically like one line of like, I had the song that I sung to them, and it had all these names in it that I made up.
I know the song.
Yeah, Susie. And so I wanted to make a Snoozy Susie book, and it's like she's got to get to bed in the book, and she has to go through all like the characters. But I'm like, is that weird? It's almost like we joke about like a guy can't be like a kindergarten teacher or coach a team. Can I write a kid's book?
Well, here's the thing: you can write a kid's book. You can't do everything it takes to sell a kid's book.
Right.
Like,
so I just got to put it out there and be like, I have a book, but I can't be like doing like book signings at like a kid's camp
like
or something,
going to the
right?
local library and singing
but
to the kids.
What if it was a smash hit?
I mean, it could be. If I know the song, it's a great song. It's
would if it was a big hit and like Penguin Publishing came to me and was like, yo, we'll put this on like 50,000 shelves across the country, but like you gotta do this and that. What should I do? What would I do? I'm now coming up with completely ridiculous scenarios that are going to happen to me.
See, I know you too well, in the sense that I know how bothered you would be at those appearances.
Yeah,
like you could probably play it off where the parents don't know, because one of those things. It's like talking to kids, like talking to an animal, where it's like, if you feel creepy, it's creepy.
Yes.
Or if you're scared, they're scared. Kind of
yeah,
deal.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it. Don't make it weird, dude. Just like say hi to the kids and sign the book. I'd be like Frank. I'd be like, I'm not touching you. I'll just sign your book.
That's how
like,
I
stay
am
away.
with kids. I'm like, get that fucking kid away from me.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I'm the weird one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't want to talk to the kid.
Yeah. That would be weird. But if it was like, dude, you have a chance to be like, the next fucking big kids author or something with these books. Or like
Shel Silverstein was right there.
Yeah. Could have gone with that one. That would be very funny. I do want to give it a shot. I think it would. Part of me thinks there's a shot it would work because I have like a built-in audience, and they're having kids now. And in my mind, if I knew somebody who was like, I wrote a bedtime book, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck what bedtime books we read, so I'll buy the one my friend wrote. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I would bank on that, and I think it could actually be successful. Now, would it like be really successful? I don't know, but I think I could actually make it. But it would be funny if like Hoda and whatever that girl's name is, like, have you on the show, and the next day they're like digging up all the other stuff I've said. It's like, wait a second, like back to back, like the newest like children's author, and then it's like, I put the baby in a microwave. And I did not think Shell looked like this at all. As far as pawning off like fake stories, it's a skilled art. You got to be smart about it. Like, she got caught. You know, that's the fun. It's funny that she just got caught. And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I was at the Mets game, 1999. Robin Ventura hits the grand single to win it against the Braves, and he gets mobbed at first base, so he can't. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And I was there with my mom, and the game was 14 innings, and my mom was like, we gotta leave. We can't like stay here all night. So we left early, and we were like in the parking lot when it happened. Like, it wasn't even like we left in like the ninth and it was like hours later. It was like if we just stuck it out for like 15 more minutes, we would have witnessed it. And I have told so many people, not only that I was there, but I have like concocted a whole story around it. Like, there was these two guys behind us who were giving us shit the whole game for standing up too often. And my mom was like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's a playoff game. If there's 2 strikes, we're standing up. So we were going back and forth with these guys the whole time. And then in my head, I was like, we would have probably been like hugging and high-fiving those guys. Like, it's all good. It doesn't matter if we won. So I have told that version of a made-up story to people about the Mets. Never happened. Never happened. It was a point in my life. I told that story. I told people that I stayed because I was still at a point in my life where I was like, I can't let people know that I left the game early. Where that like they would like make fun of me, and it would actually like hurt me, you know? Like, I'm not a good sports fan. Now I'm like, bro, my feet hurt. I wanted to go home. I don't fucking care. We won the game. I didn't see it. Don't care. Can't, like, that shit does not faze me at all anymore.
That one reminds me of my buddy's story of it was like Sox 08, I think. Big comeback. Let's say they were down 7-1 to the Rays, getting their fucking asses kicked the whole game. He left the game early, and he went to PC, Providence College at the time, and got to a bar. But the Sox made a comeback in the bottom of the 8th, I think, maybe bottom of the 9th, I forget. It was like David Price's Rays, so it was like that around that time. And it was still, he got back to Providence College, and the Sox, like, he pulled up to the bar to meet his friends and was listening on the radio, and the Sox comeback happened. And instead of going into the bar, he went to a liquor store, got a case of beers, and sat in the car for like an hour and a half. So he
to
could
make
go
it look
in,
like he was there.
So go in and be like, what a game, boys!
I'm so fucked up. I've been drinking for an hour and a half.
But now he tells the full story, which like that night he lied. But now the full story is the funny story.
Right.
That, like, I know, I just sat outside the bar drinking the 30 rack. I'm sitting.
You guys were right there. I could have been hanging out with you, but I didn't want you to know. That is a great story.
The other one I have is I've mentioned this one before, but like in my E. coli story, I say my mom didn't come in the ambulance with me. That's true from a different story. Like, I thought,
so you melded them together.
That was like, I forget what I don't know. I got hurt again for something, picked up an ambulance or something, and she was like, I think it was hockey. I think I got injured at a hockey game, and she's like, I don't want to leave my fucking car at the rink. And they're like, we think your son's neck is broken. They literally thought I broke my neck. I was playing at JFK Rink in Barnstable, Mass. I got my fucking helmet got caught on the post, and so I fell, and my neck stayed up. And they thought I broke my neck, and my mom was like, I'll meet you guys at the
There's something to me that's very, like, I guess it depends on what you're lying about, who you're lying to, why you're lying. All that really matters. Because, like, if you are, like, telling fake stories because you're, like, desperate to have friends or something like that, I'm like, you're a loser.
Well,
that's fucking lame, you know?
I think that's a good distinction, too, because I only ever added that to the story when I did a one thing I learned on it.
Yeah, because
like,
you're
when I would just tell the story,
now. Yeah.
like, it was...
I mean, if you're doing, like, a story for comedy, that's a whole different...
Yeah.
You know, we all know that people embellish and shit like that. But again, it's sort of like what happened with Hassan Minaj, where it was like, well, that lie is okay. This lie is pretty fucking weird, you know? So it depends on, you know.
It's like one of my favorite Bargatze jokes when you talk about the horse. And like, he's like, I didn't hike and see the horse in the same day.
Right.
Like, two separate stories. I'm telling a fucking joke.
Put it together. Yeah. So, you know, if you have a reason to... but if you're just like the kid at school who's just like, my dad drives a Ferrari, and it's like, no, he fucking doesn't. What are you talking about? You're such a loser. Just like tell the truth. So, yeah, you got to be careful with what you pawn off as your own. All right, last voicemail.
What up, KFC crew? What's up, Jackie?
Did he put this in black and white?
A couple years ago, we were out drinking, and my buddy had to go home to watch football with his dad or some shit like that. And his dad was like, hey, let me pick up some pizzas before you come home. So I drove him over to Little Caesars, and he walked in and ordered pizzas, and the crew behind the counter were like, hey, this guy's fucked up, you know, whatever. And was like, turned around to him and like handed him his pizzas, and he was like, I've been drinking. Came out and told me the whole story, and I just started fucking laughing. So my question is, like, what bullshit has kind of entered your regular vocabulary that was just, you know, kind of a throwaway type of thing? Because like, whenever somebody like, what's going on with you? I've been drinking. And what kind of...
Oh, man, so many.
What kind of inside joke has entered your vocabulary? Viva.
It's a great question.
Throughout the years, like, endless amounts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think my crew is a particularly, like, we latch on to weird things like this. My friends are I partake in it about 50% of what they do. It's not even like real conversations. Like, you pick up the phone and it's just like gibberish back and forth for the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds. It's just like, what's even being said right now? I mean, when there was an old man on the golf course the first time we heard he sifts his ass and all that stuff. he would shank a shot, and he yelled, "Your mother wears army boots in the your sister's ass, and your mother wears army boots in the shower." And I mean, for the next to this day, the phone, your mother, your sister, newts me, like just the dumbest shit that only we would know. So I mean, this is too much to. I remember people coming around our group being like, we don't know. We have almost a Barstool thing with my friends where like, this guy's name is Vinny, but we call him Johnny. Yeah, and this guy's name is this, but we call him that. And like, none of it makes
Pat
any sense.
Has the weirdest one. I call all my friends by either a nickname that relates to their name or their name. But I'm out with Pat and all his friends. They all call each other Lloyd. And I'm like,
I think that's funny.
And not his gay friends, his regular friends. And like, it's all just Lloyd. And I was like, so what's his name? He's like, that's Tommy. And I was like, but who's that? And who's that? And I'm like, and also just like, when we're having a conversation and everyone's Lloyd, it's hard to follow along in this fucking conversation.
Yeah, that makes, if you just call everyone a Lloyd, that's one thing. But if you're telling a story and then Lloyd said, and then Lloyd said, and then Lloyd said,
I was like, who's saying what here?
I love it. Lloyd, what a name. That's so fucking great.
Like, yeah, so I was talking to Lloyd yesterday, and I was like, I'm hanging out with 5 fucking Lloyds. Who were you talking to? It's impossible to talk to any of you.
Oh, man.
The one I haven't had the chance to put it into practice yet, but this weekend, I was at the wedding, and someone, after the mass, we had to go get in the buses, and someone ran to like a liquor store, fucking bodega, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And they come back and they're like, I got a bunch of smokes. I got I got a bunch of bottles of wine, like 20-minute bus ride, and someone goes, "Did you get a lighter? Or did you get a bottle opener?" He goes, "Would you stop causing fucking problems?" And he had none of it. But, "I would just stop causing problems." And I've been laughing about that all weekend. Just stop causing fucking problems. Like it was their fault.
Great one. That is a great one. That, to me, what this guy's talking about is like the essence of life, if you ask me. That is what, like, and I do think it's probably, I think girls do it with, like, when they nickname their friends' boyfriends, you know what I mean? Like, what you say,
drunk alter egos.
Yeah, they have their own versions of it. But when the guys are together and they just have their inside jokes and their full language and you know, names and all of that, that's like when I'm at my happiest. Is when that's going on. Like, I love this so fucking much, man. That's life right there.
That is, you know, that guy. It's one of my favorite lines, but that's from Hitchcock.
Hitchcock,
the Will Smith movie.
Yeah. Hancock? Hitchcock?
Hancock. Yeah, when the woman's like, "I can smell alcohol in your breath." That's because I've been drinking. It's an all-time line.
I love that. I knew you were talking about Hancock.
Yeah,
like he's not talking about the real Hitchcock. He's talking about Hancock Will Smith. You could have very well been talking about Alfred Hitchcock. No, it's not Hitchcock. It's Hancock.
The Jason Bateman, Charlize Theron, and Will Smith project.
Such a random crew. All right, that's it. We'll see you next week. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button,
or I'll cut off my finger.